Welcome, this is Melinda Barlow, CZT, Certified Zentangle Teacher. And today's lesson is going to be 2 tangles. I'm finding it a little bit easier for me if I do 2 tangles and I only film once a week. So today's are 2 tangles, and you see them mixed into this. This one's not quite finished, and it's got a little extra tangle. Novu by Jessica L. Dykes, and Ammyth by Mara Patakura. And Ammyth has 2 versions, and Novu has a lot of versions that you can do. So we're going to start out with the tangle Ammyth, and it is this that's kind of a stripe or a border type tangle, and I am going to do it on a gray tile, and I'm using a phi tile, and so I'm going to get my pen, and I'm using black 01, and I'm just going to do a line on my phi tile, and I should come in. I should remember that before. It has a little curve to it because I just like things that have a little curve. You can do yours straight, and then we're going to aura that line, and now I'm going to aura it again, probably about 3/4 of an inch away, and aura that again. So now we have 2 lines, parallel lines with each other. Now we're going to take our pen, and we're just going to do a zigzag line going in between these 2 aura'd lines. And I apologize for kind of pausing as I draw, but I'm meditating a little, I think, as I draw, and so I sometimes just pause my speech. One of my classmates told me that, and I thought, that's not good. And now I'm going to aura the zigzag line. So it's like aura-ing that V shape. And I'm only going to do one side. The reason I chose to do it on a gray paper is I like the shading that we can achieve on a gray paper. So this is really just lots of V's. So I'm going to start at this center of this line and come down to the center of here. So if it helps you, you can put a little dot right here and then draw a line down, and then find your center and draw a line down. So my line, my dot goes right there, and I draw a V in, trying to find my centers approximately on all of those lines. And I think I could aura that. Yes. So now we have a lot of V's. And now we're going to aura again on the outside of that V. And I love drawing on the phi tiles. They're just a little bit larger, and they fit really nice inside of a, if you've got a card, if you've done a, say you've done a card and you want to put something on the inside, they fit nice. I should have picked up a white one, not a gray one. Let's see if I can pull out this one that says live, love, laugh, and you can then put a tangle either on the inside or up here so that, you know, they fit just nicely. That's why I like them, is they're like a bookmark. They have use. So now that we have all of those lines, we're going to come back in, and again, we're going to do a V. And I want you to think equal from these two lines. So you want to do a little mountain. It's not really a V. I would call it a little mountain inside of each one of those. And then I'm going to come back in, and of course, you guessed it, we are going to aura that one that we did. All the way down. And now I'm going to come back in, and I'm going to give this some drama. So I'm going to put another little mountain in there, and I'm going to, this will be a little diamond shape in here, and I'm going to blacken it in. Mine kind of get diminishing smaller because mine kind of got smaller. And now we're going to add just some strokes that really make this beautiful. I am going to just do some very close together lines, and I'm going to give it a little sparkle, which means I just do a little skip and put lines, and I'm going to follow this same slant of that line, and you can see how really this is just a very geometric type tangle that I don't normally do, but I found it very, very satisfying. And you can see that we just want to rotate your tile and go back and forth until you've filled in all of these spaces. And if you don't want to put the sparkle in, you don't need to. I just find that that really adds that little extra to your tangle when you lift that pen just so slightly, and it softens the line. I don't know, I just like what happens when I put the so-called little sparkle in. And sometimes I'll just put it on one depending on the size of the area, and sometimes I don't, they won't have any. And there we have our tangle, and I think it's gorgeous. And I'm going to come back in here, and I am going to take a 10 jelly roll, and it's been kind of cold. Mine's been kind of sitting around, so we'll see if it start. Oh yeah, it's gonna write. I just did a little bit. You can come in here, and I'm just going to do just some white, and I'm just going to put a little dot in this space. And you have to be careful with jelly roll. You don't put your hand over the top. It's easily smeared. So I've got my little dots, and I'm gonna have to let that dry a little bit. They kind of look like snow-capped mountains. Where I live, we have those kind of mountains. And so there is Ammyth. And that's the first version. Now we're going to do the second version. And so I'm going to just come along and I'm going to just draw. I'm going to hollybot under. We'll see how I do about drawing that under. So there we have our hollybot under, and I'm going to start with a V. That's very hard to see, so I'm going to come up here. I mean a mountain. I'm going to come down a little bit and put another mountain in. Come down here, put another mountain in, and we're going to pretend that it goes all the way down. And now we're going to come back and we're going to just extend this line, and this is a little different from what the step outs, she has you do them a little bit different, but I'm just going to have you come back. So it's like you put an X in there, and I imagine I could have just put an X, an X, an X, but I followed her instructions. So now I'm going to come and I'm going to aura this X. It changes things a little bit. I have to kind of pretend like I've got one down there. Now that we've auraed all the X's, we're going to come in and we're going to do a little mountain. And we're going to aura it. And now we're going to come in and we're going to do that little triangle that's right there. And I'm just going to color in this one right here so it looks like it's that one above. And now I have my little triangle that I'm coloring. And now we're going to put the lines, those little lines, in this space. And there we have the other variety. Now I'm going to come back just to kind of give it that same. Now I don't have to worry too much about the jelly roll drying. I'm going to just put my little dots in this area that kind of helps sync these two together. And now we have Ammyth. Now there's spaces, we've got spaces here and here and here that we can draw on. So I am going to switch over, and I think this one is a ton like Muka. It's a lot like Muka, but it has kind of the similar stroke, but it's just a tad bit different. And you can either start at the bottom and work your way up, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start down here, come up, make that Muka top, and then come back down in. And then we're going to bring one over. So they kind of join together like a, kind of yin and yang type thing. So I'm going to do another one. And you can also bring one that comes up and out of it. This is where I think it gets the Muka look. And you can always bring And sometimes mine don't even get they only get half of it. I'm just going to fill in the space. And that's basically it. But what the fun part with this one is, what can you do in those spaces? And this is one of my favorite, just to aura the space. And just fill it up with an aura that kind of goes, you know, you just kind of have your way with how you fill it up. Any little extra space, and I have to rotate because I don't always, I find when I rotate I see things a little different, and so and there we have it, really filled in. Now to give this one some drama, I'm going to switch off and I'm going to show you. I am going to use a black Prismacolor pencil, and I'm going to fill in these spaces with a black Prismacolor. And I'm just going to fill them all the way in. Sometimes I think I've used up so much ink by filling in, and a lot of times it just takes so much time, and I'm kind of I don't like to take a lot of time filling in. I love the look, but if I can find a way to fill it in just a little bit faster, then I'm happy. You can use a larger tip pen, or you're going to see what I do here to kind of give it that finished look. This is usually tells me where I've forgotten things. So now I'm going to take my shading stump, and I'm going to put a little odorless paint thinner on it. And this one, I need to add some more into that little tub, but I'm going to just blend this out. You can tell that it doesn't take much to blend these out and really get rid of those little white spots that are in there from colored pencils. Kind of makes the color blend together, and you get a really nice effect with a colored pencil. And the color kind of builds up on your pen, so you can come back in here and add a little lighter color. And if I need a little bit, I'll just pick up a little off one of these that are sort of dry. And I can just add a little bit of color. You know, I don't want too much. Don't want them to be solid black in there. And I can see that I am going to have to go back in right here and aura, and here an aura. And I'm just going to color this in with my pen so you can see that it looks just almost the same as if you have your pen. And now I'm going to take my chalk, white chalk, and I'm just going to add some little highlights to my tangle. And I can come in here and add a little highlight. I'm going to put a little chalk just right up here in the top. And I'm going to have to get me a clean shading stump. I don't want one that has odorless paint thinner on it. And I can blend that little bit of chalk just by itself. And you can see what a beautiful tangle, what beautiful tangles we're getting. And so the gray paper is absolutely so much fun to work on. And last week in class we took some black and we did a tangle. I challenged them to try take the same tangle and try it with different mediums. So I'm just going to show you what would happen if I take this on a black, and I'm going to just do it with my jelly roll. And how I'm hooking them together. Just about forgot what I was doing there, but you can see how fun that is just on black. And then you don't always have to follow the rules. You can, you know, get really carried away with this one. I love how this fills up a big space quickly. But I just love working on black. So if you haven't worked on black, you need to try it out. And you could do the same thing here. You could put aura it, or, you know, just anything will go. So thanks again for watching. I'm going to back my camera back out so you can see. Here's the one I did on the black. Here's one I did on the gray, and here's one I did on white. Just so much fun to do. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. New videos once a week, and tangle every day.